Welcome back, everybody. This is Mindset Mondays on the Trader Roundup podcast, where highly attuned, like minded traders come together to become 1% stronger each and every day. And I'm excited today to host and welcome Arman, who is the youngest, most profitable funded trader in the industry. Where is my guest? There he is. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm all good, bro.
Fantastic. So please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are. And tell us about your journey into trading. And then what we'd like to do is just get straight into your brilliant mind. I mean, you're 20 years old now, so it's actually your birthday today as well. So happy
Yeah,
birthday.
thank you, bro. Appreciate
So
that.
please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Arman, and I'm full-time trader right now and a student, and I'm currently funded about 1.2 million in funding, and I've been funded for that much, like for around a year now, and yeah, so I've been consistently profitable. Like I've not blown any accounts or anything. I've
Mhm.
failed like one challenge so far, and that's about it.
One challenge that's unheard of, to be honest. Like most funded traders I come across have probably blown thousands, and so I'm very curious as to what your initial plan was to where you are now, because that's a hell of a feat. So yeah, congrats on that.
Thanks.
So I did watch your interview with Angelo on TFT. So for anybody who wants to go into a bit deeper, uh, get to know you a little bit more in your story and everything like that, they can go ahead and watch that interview, which was great. Um, but you said that you are currently studying, so that's computer science, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What year are you in currently?
So finished second year and starting third year in about October.
Okay. So a lot of the listeners are also perhaps maybe working full time or studying full time. How have you managed to juggle both something that's quite demanding, like studying computer science in university, to trading itself? How have you
Yeah,
managed to find the balance?
yeah, to be honest, I think it's really hard to do both of them at the same time, right? I don't think anyone would probably have to pull off like what I did, but also focusing on computer science at the same time. Because I didn't really focus on computer science as much as I should have, because otherwise I could not like trade and expand my knowledge on other fields, right?
Mm.
One second, there's a little fly in front of me right here. All right, my bad. Wait, one second.
No worries.
There's a little fly.
This is what
All
happens
right,
when we're live. Like there's like anything goes.
that's the first time this happened as well. What the hell? All right. Back to the story. So,
Well,
yeah,
that could be that
um,
could be the trailer for the podcast.
yeah. So about computer science, right? Like, I was aiming to just pass the year at this point. I could not aim for like the highest possible grade because like that actually requires you to pretty much be on your computer learning about softwares and like coding practice. So it's all about practice, right? So I just chose to practice trading instead of practicing coding. That's pretty much it. But I did pass though. Like I just set my like bare minimum as the work I had to do for my degree.
Hmm. And do you plan on finishing your
Yeah,
computer science degree? Yeah.
yeah.
And so, what's your schedule like at the moment?
Well, at the moment, like, so I'm big into health, right? And I believe like everyone needs like minimum 8 hours of sleep to function properly throughout the whole day. And that's whether you're trading or doing anything. Like 8 hours, I think, is like a minimum you need. So I sleep like good amount. Then once I wake up, I don't usually have breakfast until like 1 p.m. So until then, I just try to get some work done. If there's any work, like let's say I need
Hmm.
to like plan some stuff out, right? Future plans for like social media and everything, some trade ideas I might have, and then I go to the gym. And then it takes me quite a long time at the gym. Once I'm at the gym, I'll buy some lunch or come home and make some lunch. It's around like one p.m. then, so I'm done like eating by like 2:30, and that's
Hmm.
when I start looking at the charts, start getting ready for my trading session. Then I trade, and then after that, I trade for like an hour, and then after I'm pretty much free for the remaining of the day. Right? Then you can do whatever, watch podcasts, expand your knowledge about other things.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
Okay. And so the times that you mentioned are UK times, right?
Yeah, UK times. Yeah.
So, so how exactly do you approach trading? Because you said you trade for that 1 hour, and I think I heard you mention in the TFT interview you have this 45-minute window.
Yeah.
So can you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, so the 45-minute window that starts at 3 p.m. UK time, which is 10 a.m. New York time, I believe,
Hmm.
which is 30 minutes after the New York Open. So I trade the Nasdaq, right, the indice, and why? Because like I came up with that time after like doing hours and hours of like try and error. Like I tried it every time. I was trying like morning time, Asian time. Then
Hmm.
eventually, I tried this time, and this gave me the best results for my system. And
Hmm.
then thanks to this time, I also realized that it's not like a random time that works. There's actual good logic behind it. Like if you look most of the time, the Nasdaq, right? At the
Hmm.
open, it will make some sort of like rapid move towards one side, but then it
Hmm.
always comes back towards 30 minutes later, and that's when the real moves happens after that. So
Hmm.
I'm pretty much just trying to catch that small 30 pip move after that. That's all I do. Like I'm not trying to go for this big risk to reward, right? I just want like a small piece, and I
Yeah.
know when that piece is gonna happen.
And what kind of risk reward are you averaging?
1 to 1 is what I aim for, but with
Hmm.
slippage and spreads, it goes to about like 0.8.
And what kind of risk do you do for a challenge compared to when when you're managing your portfolio?
Well, yeah, now it's a bit different because of the no time limit, right? So like
Mm.
on no time limit, now I'm risking like 1% to 1.5% per trade on my challenges, and that makes me like about the same amount on the profit as well. So I'm just taking it slowly. Like my average time to pass a challenge at the moment is like 2 to 3 months.
Hmm.
So like it's just I'm being patient, right? Because I know 2 to 3 months go by so fast. Like everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for my funded accounts, it varies. So like it's a lot of testing I'm doing right now as well.
Yeah.
So what I've been recently like doing for the past year, like one account I would risk 0.25%, on the
Hmm.
other one 0.5, and then another one 0.75, and then 1% on another one. So it's like if like I go into losing streak, right, one of those
Hmm.
accounts will still be in good position for me to be
Yeah.
comfortable. Like, okay, I'm not losing everything if I lose something now. But then
I
I have those
see.
aggressive accounts as well.
And for your aggressive accounts, are those the larger funded accounts or the smaller funded accounts?
Smaller. I don't want to like risk too much on like because the largest accounts I have is 300K, right?
Yeah.
So those ones I don't risk that much. I have a 200K which I risk 1%, and that's
Mm.
the most, like even that I'm not super comfortable with. But then I'm like, it's just 2% out. I mean, it's only 200K out of the whole 1.2 million I have, right? So I might
Hmm.
as well do it.
Yeah. And do you copy all of your trades across all accounts?
At the moment, no, but that's what I'm planning to do soon. Like that's what I was seeing. Like Kyle, Paladin, they're all like now moving into managing like all of their capital in one like pretty much trade, right? So because I feel like I can do that now because I haven't really seen anything, like any signs that I should not do it. I've not like gone super into drawdown or like
Hmm.
made some risky move on any of the accounts. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do probably in like a month. I'll probably combine them all and then trade, probably reduce my like percentage I'm aiming for every month to like 1% maybe or even less. So that would be like a big gain just from one trade.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that does make sense. And you can make it a lot more efficient because if you're only trading that 45-minute window and you're trading multiple accounts, I mean you're logging in, logging out. I mean it's a bit, and if you're
Yeah.
trading that one sort of move, you've only got really a few minutes to make that decision, right?
Definitely. I mean, not really about. It's not like I need I don't need to like react to a live time because I don't place market orders. I place stop orders. So I analyze, do my analysis, place stop orders, and leave the charts. That's it.
Okay, do you
Yeah.
know,
So
and so it allows you time to sort of get triggered in.
yeah, like literally, what all I'm doing is predicting pretty much which way price will move, and then I place my
Hmm.
order in between that movement, right? So that when price moves through that, takes my order, hits my TP, and I'm out. That's kind of the basis of how I'm trading.
I see. I see. So we got a question here about, do you trade ICT?
Nah, I don't trade ICT. I've
Because
looked into it a lot.
it's very similar. There is some similar concepts within what you've just said in regards to trading that open.
Hmm.
Um, but when you developed your strategy, you didn't look at ICT. You just developed it yourself.
Yeah, I didn't even know about ICT like until recently, like maybe a month ago. It's when I came across everyone trading like this strategy called silver bullets or whatever, right? So I was like, "Okay, what is this?" So I started like backtesting and everything, and the results weren't too bad. But I'm sticking
Mm.
to my strategy at the moment, right? Because like I
Mm.
don't believe a strategy that's shared online and like millions of people eventually start using it. I don't believe that strategy will last in the markets long term.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I
like an
have heard.
open source strategy.
Yeah, yeah, no, I have heard this someone say that before. I think they said it in one of the Market Wizard books. Um, but they were referring to the stock market and particular stocks. So because the FX market is just so big,
Yeah.
like the impact that retail volume has is just very minimal compared to who the conglomerates and the bigger institutions who could actually move price. Um, so when it comes to your actual mental processes, because you touched earlier on your routine and habits, and I'm very interested in how, because you mentioned you try to have your 8 hours of sleep, you have the morning time to sort of prepare yourself, and then you have this window where you're literally just trading for that 1 hour. So can you talk me through a little bit more about your mental processes on how you maintain high peak performance?
Well, yeah. So like the daily routine is pretty much sort of like I try to always design it to perform the highest, right? Like for example, the 8 hours sleep then combined with the mini fast until like 1 p.m. That's
Hmm.
already like really good. Like you probably have tried it, right? Like when you eat food in the morning, it like ruins your whole day. Like you
Yeah,
feel very weird, it brain fog and everything.
yeah,
So like if you're fasting, that will really help with whatever you're
yeah.
doing.
I fast minimum 16 hours, so intermittent fast, and it's my most optimal. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. How many hours do you fast?
Well, let me see. So that'll be about 7-ish hours. Yeah.
So, what time's your last meal?
Oh wait. Oh yeah, I forgot. I counted it from when I wake up. I didn't count it. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So I my last meal is probably around like 8 o'clock, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're doing between yeah, 16 to like 20, 18 hours, 16, 18 hours. That's pretty
Around
good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you usually break your fast? Is it with
What
do you have
I drink
coffee in the
whatever.
morning, by the way?
Nah, no coffee. I try to like stay away from the caffeine, the energy drinks, and all that. Right. I don't think
Hmm.
that's like needed. Like even for gym, like pre-workouts and stuff. I don't think you need it.
Maybe not at your age.
Maybe. Yeah.
What
Maybe.
Watch when you get to my age. I'm
That's true. That's
35, by
true.
the way,
Oh, I
but
see.
when I was 19, I did not need any caffeine. Well, you're
Yeah.
20 now, so yeah. When I was
Mhm.
20, there's no caffeine needed at that age. But as you
Yeah.
grow older and you tend to have less energy levels. Now, in terms of how did you, so in terms of like the typical 20-year-old, yeah, and who you are, you seem to be very mature for your age. What what sets you apart from other 20-year-olds that you've managed to achieve so much in such a young age? What do you think has led to this performance of yours?
Well, I guess that like other people are just happy with normal life, right? Like they
Mhm.
wake up and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go to school, and then They just look up to the little ideal life where they're gonna be waking up every day, going to job, then they're gonna maybe finance a car, mortgage a house, live like that until 65, then they're gonna be
Mm,
retired. That's like the normal job, right? Like the normal life, right? I guess
mm.
they're fine with it. I think that's the only difference, that I'm not fine with that. Like, I don't want that. So I'm literally, I can't even imagine like doing living that life, right? That's like hell. So I don't want to do that. So I'm doing
Yeah,
anything I can in my power right now to avoid that from happening. That's all it is, pretty much.
yeah. I've done that for about 15 years. I've been, and it is hell. It is
Hmm.
um you you're like stuck in this what they call the rat race, the matrix, but
Yeah.
it is difficult to get out of it, especially if you've got financial commitments. So I think that the fact that you're still young, you're still living at home, it does give you that advantage. You have an edge, and it seems you're taking full advantage of it, which is great.
Yeah.
So what would you say to other people sort of in their between 18 and 30 who are actually perhaps stuck in the matrix, stuck in university, or stuck in a job that they're not happy with? What kind of things do they need to do in order to become a profitable trader?
Mm, I would say it's like how badly someone wants it, right? Like, there's always these people that you see that like a few years older than me or even younger, right? And they're like, oh, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm working. It's bad. But then they're still doing it. They're not doing anything about it. Most people just
Mm.
like to talk and not do any actions about it. So
Hmm.
like they have to take an actual action and then find out how like actual how they can like figure out something.
Yeah, yeah, and absolutely. And it, I resonate with that because when I was around 22, and it was when I realized that there's no way I want to do this until I retire. And I mean, I don't even want to retire. I want to be able to achieve something better. It wasn't until 25 when I started trading, but between 22 and 25, I was just working on my mindset. I stopped going out. I literally had to change my phone number. I changed the place where I lived. So I completely took a U-turn to develop the right mindset, the right skills. I even had to develop how to speak properly, how to all of that body language. Um, Growing up in London in an urban environment, you tend to have this sort of street culture.
That's
Um,
true.
and so for me, I had to literally just like unlearn so much in order to become someone more influential, have better communication skills, seem at least trustworthy. Because I'll tell you what, in my 20s, you look at me for that guy doesn't look trustworthy, man. Comes from the hood.
Damn.
So what do you do? I mean, what is your sort of process for when you're in drawdown? And like, how do you deal with the that voice in your head, the negativity, the frustration? What kind of process does that look like for you when you're in drawdown?
Yeah, so for me, when I'm in drawdown, it's no different than me being in break even or in green. Like that's how it just I've trained my mind into nothing or not looking at it any differently. Because at the end of the day, what changes? Nothing, right? Like you're doing the same thing. What's actually changed? Nothing. You just have a negative sign in front of the number that would have been green. Like nothing has actually changed in the real world or the real life. Nothing's changed. So just
Mm,
keep doing what you're doing. I know it's easier said than done, right? But that's pretty much the secret to that. Don't
mm-hmm,
change anything. You're in drawdown, do exactly what you would do if you were break even or in green. And then
mm-hmm,
eventually you will be in green if you just do that. But most people like fumble right there. They just start doing some weird stuff and they just mess it all up.
mm. So do you actually experience any negative feelings or thoughts when you're in drawdown?
Well, at the start, I did for sure. Like, I wanted to recover really fast, right? I wanted to increase my size. It's like actually a few buttons, and you can pretty much go
Mm,
back to break even and make some money. So, but I just didn't do it. I just resisted it. Like, I just resist those thoughts. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so over time, through that resistance, that practice, you've developed more resilience, more self-control.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And how long do you think that process took for you?
I would say like after being funded, maybe like 3 4 months.
And did you do any journaling, or how did you actually identify your negative patterns?
Yeah, journaling is very important. I journal on pen and paper, right? And
Mm,
I think like I don't journal my each trade, but what I journal is like the mental aspect of it. Like how was I feeling? What like thought came to my mind? Did I want to increase my risk today? And then like
mm,
how low was I that I felt like I could increase my risk and come back to break even? And then you
mm-hmm,
kind of can do like a little reality check. You're like, okay, I was down only 1%, but my brain wanted to risk 2% to make a profit and break even on the same day. And then you're like, this does not make sense. That's a very dumb decision if you look at it from like a third point of view, right? And that's pretty much how you can just build this list of things to not do.
And at what point in your trading process do you write those notes down or have done in the past? Is it whilst you're managing the trade, whilst the thoughts are happening, or do you do it post, once the trade is already active and then you know your window of trading is over? At what point do
Yeah,
you make those
I do
notes?
it after because otherwise it's going to be too confusing if I'm trying to write stuff down and look at the charts as well, right?
Yeah,
Personally,
yeah.
guys, at least.
Okay. And do you review those notes at a later date? And what does that process look like?
I do review them, but like not too much because like I don't know, it's just personally how it is. Like once I know what's wrong, right, I just remember it and then I just know not to do it. So I know that some
Mm,
people will definitely be much harder, like they need to constantly be told to do. But I feel like those people is like just asking for it, right? Like everyone's a human and they can all do it like I'm doing it. Why are they not doing it? Like it's just on them.
yeah. Yeah. What I like about, yeah, that process, and it's something that I encourage traders to do all the time. And I mean, I've got the tools for it and everything when I work with traders to journal their feelings, journal their thoughts. And you mentioned something key there is like you felt like risking 2%, but you didn't, you know, and just writing that down in itself is almost like you're emptying your mind. You're taking all of these thoughts, all this negativity on paper, and then once it's on paper, it's out of your mind now. And then that gives you the opportunity to recalibrate back into what should I be doing? Where is price right now? Where am I in my process? Um, and that gives you the opportunity to have less emotional attachment to these feelings and being impulsive. So I really like the fact that you have this journaling process. At what point did you start journaling your thoughts and feelings about your trades? And is it still something that you do now?
Well, now not that much because now I'm pretty much repeating the same thing over and over, right? And I have like
Mm,
the data to back it up that I don't need to do it anymore, at least for the time being. Maybe if something goes wrong, I might have to go back to it, right? To like spot the problem and then solve it. But yeah, I started doing this pretty much when I started my first funded challenge because I knew it was important to like actually pass a challenge.
hmm. And is that something that you picked up from a book, or is that you just thought this will be a good idea to do?
Well, I heard every good trader say, "Oh, you need to journal. Journaling is important, right?" But then I was like, "Okay, I'm a journal," but then I didn't want to journal each trade because I didn't see how that would benefit me in my personal case, right? So I was like, "Okay, let me find something to journal." So I found this, and I was like, "Okay, this actually helps." So I might actually keep journaling this.
Hmm.
So I would say journaling is important, but everyone needs to find what they need to journal because it might be different for everyone. Maybe someone is, I don't know, making some specific mistake, right? And they want to journal
Hmm.
only that bit instead of joining the whole trade every day. Like you don't want to be like, let's say you win many trades, right? You don't want to be journaling those winners. Like, oh, okay, I won this trade. I felt happy. You're just gonna write the same thing over and over. Like, that's pointless.
Yeah, yeah, I see. You mentioned something in the TFT interview about dealing with your problems in trading as an equation, and then figuring out that equation to find a solution. Can you talk more about how to what the process that you follow in order to do this?
I mean, the equation I was talking about, that was pretty much like the equation to life, what I would call it, right? So, like, you need, what I was saying in the interview was that if in your life you have, like, let's say you're going to the gym, you have a healthy diet, right? You're a good person, you are constantly learning, you're doing all these things, then you're like, okay, I want to learn trading. You add trading to the equation. Now, the probability of you succeeding in trading is much higher because you're already doing all these positive things throughout your life, right? But let's say now you're vaping, smoking, drinking, going partying every day, sleeping late, and then you suddenly like, okay, I saw this guy make money online. I'm gonna do trading. Now, the probability of you failing in trading is very high because everything else in your life is pretty much deteriorating anyways, right? That's what I was saying in that.
Yeah, I love that you said that, and it's about getting everything aligned so that you are giving yourself the best chances of being consistent and being disciplined. You mentioned uh, that you work out like 6 times a week, and obviously now we know that you do intermittent fasting. So you take your physical and mental health really seriously, as if it's part of the business itself of trading.
Yeah, wait, is my camera lagging a bit?
Yeah, it is a bit.
It was delayed like by law, right?
Yeah, it's getting a bit more delayed. What we can do
Wait, should
is
I restart it real quick?
let me add you in and add you back on again. Otherwise, it should be okay. And what we can do is we can start bringing in the
Okay.
Q&As. Uh,
All right.
let's see if we can if that works. Hold on.
Quickly restart the camera. Just 1 second, yeah?
Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to jump into Q&As. So if you do have a
All right,
question,
there we go.
you guys can post it in the chat, somewhere in the live chat, and then we'll be able to see it on screen now. So hopefully, Arman, you're back in again. Um, so you mentioned uh, as well that you take around 2 to 3 months to pass a challenge. So this is something that many traders they struggle with, because they just want to they most traders are actually failing in the first week. They're blowing up the account in the first week. um when it comes to patience, especially with trying to make money, what advice would you give these traders?
Well, I think why they fail so quickly, right? It's like the unrealistic expectation of they're gonna suddenly become like super rich and make a lot of money in literally no time. But that's not like true. It takes time. It's like every business, right? You're not gonna launch a business in like a few hours or like a day. But these people just want it like really quickly. They have like greed. I would say greed is good if used well. They're greedy in a wrong way. Like they want to quickly be greedy, but don't like expect it to happen quick. Be greedy over time. Like always want more, but know that a realistic time frame is gonna be like long time.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And yeah, I really like how you said that every trade is just like a business deal. I think that's
Yeah.
very, very key, that you have to really prepare for each and every business deal. You don't want to be placing trades every day, because not every day is a good time to make a business deal, is it?
Yep. Yeah, my camera. Don't worry about it. I'm trying to fix this right now.
So no, you can have the camera off if you want. That's fine. We can see
All
your
right.
we can see your
That's probably better
avatar.
now.
So let's jump into the
Yeah.
questions. They're starting to come in. So let's have this. We've got some questions from earlier. How did you find your? Was it backtesting various strategies? So how did you find your model? Was it backtesting various strategies, or was it
Yes, tons of back
one
testing.
strategy?
Tons of backtesting. Like I spent probably like 4 to 5 months, like 10 hours plus a day, sitting on my desk, just on the charts, backtesting, right? Because if you once you find something that is promising results in previous data, now you can have some sort of confidence going with that in actual forward testing, right? Then if forward testing goes well, then actually trade it on like a challenge or something. Backtesting is like my number one like thing before I start trading
Hmm.
as a beginner, I would say. There's no way you
And
can just expect to draw a few trend lines and start trading them, because if you trade something like that you have no data on, right? At the back of your mind, I need that assurance that this has played out in the last 2 years this many times, and this many times it was profitable. So I know, okay, if I lose today, it will be green the next time maybe, or the after
Mhm.
or after that. But if you don't have that data, you're blindly going into it, and you don't know how many times you might lose. It's like then
Mhm.
it's actually painful even for your mind.
Yeah. And you said you were back testing ICT Silver Bullet. How much time do you dedicate to back testing? How often do you do it?
Oh, I mean, I don't do it anymore because I have my system, right, which
Mm.
works really well. But the ICT one, I was just curious, like a few months ago, like what's the whole hype about? And I tested it like for a few months back test. That
Hmm.
took me a few hours, and the results weren't too bad. But I told you, like, I still wouldn't like trust it long term.
Yeah, yeah. Got a question here from Mohammed. He says, "What's a good daily percentage target and a weekly percentage target to pass a challenge and get funded?"
Well, right now it's no time limit, so I would say you don't need a daily target or a weekly target. You just need to be consistently profitable. That's all you need. So you can even make 2% a month. That would be fine. Sure, it's going to take you 6, 7 months to pass the phase. That's fine. At least you're a good trader now, and maybe in 10 years' time, your track record will like give you private investors, right? It's all going to be worth it. Nothing happens overnight. So look at the trade how what you want to like do 10 years down the line.
100%. So there's a question here from Edda. You mentioned that you school. How do you go about your routine trading and school?
Well, I think that would depend on most people what schools they go, everything, right? Because I go to university, I'll be fine if I don't attend lectures in person, right? So I can literally just like be online on a lecture, mark my attendance or whatever, and go about my usual routine. And then like 2 weeks before the exams, all nighters trying to pull it off. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, sounds like me when I was in uni studying psychology.
I
I
mean,
think
uni's
that's
a
like most
scam,
people.
anyways.
Uni is a scam. Oh man, tell me about it. I wish I had ChatGPT though back then. That
Yeah,
would have
that
made
helps a lot.
yeah, it would have made things so much easier. Do you use it now?
Yeah, I definitely use it. Yeah.
Nice. What are the rules for you using ChatGPT at your with your course?
Well, before when it came out, it was like not that detected, right? But now
Mm,
even their like plagiarism checkers have like AI checker built in, so they will know if it's
okay.
AI or not. So what you have, it just makes it slightly longer. That's all. Like you have to check everything yourself and rewrite it in actual your words. That's pretty much
Mm,
it.
that's pretty much it. Yeah. Okay. Or you use another AI software to, to
Yeah, you can do that as well.
unplagiarize. Yeah, I heard that. What was it? There's one called Jasper, I think it's called. Yeah, that you can use that.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So, question here in regards to what platform do you use for back testing?
I just use Trading View and I go back with Replay and I use Trader. Wait, it's called no one second. Trader Edge to put in my like wins and losses because my system is very simple. I like to keep it simple, right? It's not it doesn't have tons of partials, like move to break even, all these other variables. That's why I can do this. But I know a lot of people have like complicated systems. For them, I
Hmm.
would recommend using something like FX Replay to backtest in more details.
Okay. Um, there were some questions here that you've already answered. Someone says, "What's your length of trade, expected risk rewards?" So some of these actually have been answered already, guys. So if you go back to the around the beginning, Arman talks more about his system. I mean, just quickly, is he aims for about 1 to 1. And another question, actually, I didn't ask you. What is your average win rate?
About 65% at the moment.
Mm, yeah, it's quite high. Having that 1 to 1. So there was another quite a really good question here from uh, Jaime. How do you manage your risk in drawdown periods?
Well, I did say that I don't get bothered by that, right? I'm still risking the same amount and everything. I just trust my system and let the probabilities play out over time.
Okay.
That's pretty much all it is.
And how many losses in a row do you usually have you gotten in the past, and do you just keep the risk the same?
Yeah, my maximum losses was 6 or 7, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and literally that was it was hard, like mentally, right, being that low because I just kept losing, losing, losing. I was like, okay, when is it gonna stop?
Yeah.
Because my historical losses before that was 4,
Wow.
but now I've gone over that. I'm like, okay, now when is it gonna stop? But I just trusted my system,
Mm-hmm.
did everything the same, and like 2 3 weeks later, I was at a break even again. Got like a win streak right after. So
Wow. So you didn't change your risk. You had 7 losses
nothing.
in a row, but it took you about 2 weeks just to make back what you've lost, right? How
Yeah,
how much in drawdown did you go down to?
I think at that time I was risking quite a lot. I was risking like 1%,
Mm.
and I was down like 6 7% on the account. My plan was if I reach 8% drawdown,
Mhm.
then I have to de-risk if I don't want to lose the account. Then I'm gonna have to split that 2% drawdown left into like 6 7 possible more losses. And then I'll have to stick with that until I get to like 5 6% of the drawdown, and then up the risks a little bit and slowly come out of drawdown. That's the other way of doing it.
Love that, and I love that because it goes it goes really well with a 60% win rate if you do it like that. And
Mhm.
that's how, guys, if you didn't hear that, rewind it, write that down, because if you've got a 60% win rate, um, you and your max loss is around 7 trades. If you've got 2% left, that's the max loss you give yourself, right? You give yourself 7 trades for that 2%. So if you've got 5% drawdown left, that's something you can do as well. You give yourself those 7 trades, but it's about trusting the system, knowing that you have an edge, and having the confidence to just to keep going. And this is where the mindset comes in. And a lot of traders, they struggle with being in drawdown, and then they start having not only doubts in the system but having doubts in themselves. So there was a question here. Every trader needs its rules according to their personality. What are yours in regards to risk, amount of trades per month, handling losses, and life in general outside of trading? That's quite a deep question.
Yeah. Well, okay, let me see. So it says regards to risk. Okay, so amount of trades per month.
Hmm.
My average amount of trades per month at the moment is 8 to 10 trades. So like 2 to 3 trades a week. That's my average trades number.
Hmm.
Handling losses, I've like talked about that, right? Like
Hmm.
you just have to do the same thing you do when you're green or break even. And life outside of trading, it needs to be like good. You can't have the general life outside of trading and then expect good results in trading. Like you get this feeling, right? You need to get the feeling that okay, today I hit the gym, good diet, you feel good. If you don't have that good feeling, you're probably gonna not have that good like session on the charts.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you need to feel like you have power.
Yeah. And how do you have you in the last sort of recent past, maybe the last 3 months, have you felt a day where, what, I'm not feeling right today, I'm not going to trade? Have you made that type of decision?
No, I haven't.
You,
That hasn't happened yet.
you've been feeling good, yeah? Like,
Yeah, I literally, I don't know. I like trading, so I try to trade whenever possible. Literally, when I went to Miami right at the weekend,
mm,
I was literally trying to place a trade on the plane. It was my trading session on the plane. I was doing some analysis. I was trying to place a trade.
wow, this is like the I have what one. one saying, or it's like a mantra. It's I always remind myself that trading is the reward. So the opportunity to be able to do what I love, be in control of my time, and be able to participate in the market, that in itself is the reward. The fight itself, the
Yeah,
struggle, the wins, the losses, the drawdowns, the opportunity to do that is way better than having a boss, having rules, having to go to an office, having to, wake up, um, and having to ask for permission to go toilet, or permission to go to pick up your kids from school, or you only get 2 weeks permission to travel, and you can't even take 2 weeks in a row. You have to do like maximum 3 or 4 days over the year. It's just like, for me,
I don't know how people live with that. It's like you
it's
just can't.
but that's
It's
why there's
slavery. It's pretty much slavery.
yeah, but that's why, I mean, that's just the way the world works. And not everyone has the opportunity that we have. So it's actually a privilege to be able to have the opportunity to trade, because I'll tell you what, eh, there's not that many 20-year-olds like you who have this opportunity and are managing seven figures in funded capital. It's very, very, very rare. And so, that's why it's important to have these conversations, and address them, because there's going to be a lot of people listening that are tired. They want to get out of the matrix, and
Hmm.
trading is that way out. It's just
Yeah,
the problem. The thing is, the problem that people are experiencing, which is this, being stuck in their current financial situation, and trading is that solution. The problem itself is, and the psychological burden that comes with it, the negative thoughts about it, is what impacts the negative trading. So, it's for the traders that I work with, it's trying to get them to have the mindset which you've mentioned. Like, if you're winning in a winning streak, or in a losing streak, or you're in break even, it's all the same. Nothing changes, because the system doesn't
yeah,
change. So why should your response change? um,
exactly.
but it's easier said than done. So really, these conversations are about, how do you get to that point, and what kind of practices, how often do you need to develop this mindset of detachment, because that's really what it is, isn't it? You've developed a
Yeah.
way to detach from these negative emotions. And you mentioned earlier you used the journal to just write down how you feel, and your feelings and your thoughts. So if you were to go back to these journal notes that you wrote down, a few years ago, and you had all these negative thoughts, like, what kind of thoughts were coming up then?
Mm, I mean, it was just the usual thoughts everyone has, right? Of like risking high amounts, making, I don't know, more than two trades a day, which is maybe not your rule, but you're still trying to break it because you believe the next trade will be a winner if you lost two. It was the usual stuff, but I overcame these things very like quickly,
Mm,
because I feel like this whole thing of journaling and like, I don't know, meditating or whatever, it's just a little gimmicky, because at the end of the day, right? Just sit down and think about it. Like, what kind of life do you want? Do you really want to like be broke? No, right? Then you're not gonna do these dumb things. Like, if you don't want to be broke, you're not gonna do these things. It's simple as that. But people still make these mistakes. They just want to be broke. Then I'm guessing like there's no other option, right? It's quite simple. Like, you can journal stuff, or you can just be like, okay, I know if I do this, I'm gonna be broke in 2 years. I don't want to be broke. I don't
mm,
want to lose my account. You know that in 1 month you might make a 10K payout if you don't do these dumb mistakes. So just don't make the mistakes.
yeah.
People are not very aware of the whole like bigger picture of like how their life is. That like most people's life, including like mine and yours, right? We're like very insignificant in this world, right? We're like the smallest, as like even financially, our net worths are nothing and compared to what people have. People have unlimited access to wealth, finance, everything. So just look at it that way. What we have is nothing. Always aim for the biggest possible target, and on the way there, you get all these smaller like side quests.
Mm. Yeah, it's again, it is easier said than done. It's because human beings were very complex, and everybody has very unique journeys in life and circumstances, and even the way their brain has been conditioned because of the way their parents brought them up, society, their community, etc. These everybody's a little bit different, but the way the mind works is that it's got systems and processes in order for us to survive. And
Yeah,
if if you're not aware of what those reactions are, those your fight or flight response or certain cognitive biases, if you, the ones that you yourself become victim to, if you're not aware of these things and have process in place, then you are going to just continue in this cycle of making mistakes. And in when it comes to making stupid decisions in trading, like gambling, or over leveraging or revenge trading, these kind of, it really comes down to how the reward system in the brain works. So it's about rewarding yourself for the right things, and it seems that your routine is very common in high performers. You have a very set routine. You take your rest, your rest really seriously. You have your morning routine. You work out like 6 times a week, and really you're only engaged in the charts a very short period of time, which means that your focus is a lot more laser focused, as opposed to traders that are spending 3, 4, 5, or even 10 hours in front of the charts.
yeah.
It's so that laser focus is key. So
It's like a game, right?
mm,
Most people probably are gamers anyways. If they're young, they're looking at watching this, right? Like when you play a game for 3 4 hours, what happens? Your skill goes down. You start becoming worse at it than you were like when you just started playing the game on the day.
mhm. Yeah.
And another thing is, you were talking about like processes and like how to like it's easier said than done, right? What I found out the best way of like making it actually easy to do as well is having fixed rules. If you have fixed rules, that's the easiest way to stick to them. Like you actually have to be dumb to not stick to fixed rules, right? Like if you write down a big piece of paper in front of you, one trade, right? And then you go on the charts, you place your one trade, you've done it. Like that's the rule. How can you like then have a big piece of paper and say no? I'm not following that. Then keep doing that every day. It's like then you have some sort of like I don't know mental issues. Like then don't trade,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, I hear you what you're saying, and again, it's even when traders have rules in front of them, they when they're on their own and they don't have accountability, they struggle. Obviously, in your case, it might have been different. Did you have any accountability as you were developing yourself?
I mean, I just have self accountability. That's it.
Mm. And that is so important, that because you and then something that you mentioned in the TFT interview about your your goal is essentially not having to do what everyone else is doing, which is
Yeah,
having a job, and this fear of being average, the fear of being stuck in the rat race, this in itself is enough for somebody to or so, like yourself, to push yourself, to be accountable, to not break your rules, to be disciplined. And being disciplined is doing what needs to be done even if you don't feel like doing it.
yeah,
That is one of the definitions of discipline, and just being consistent with it. And this is where many traders fail, is that they allow their emotions, and their feelings and their fears. I think they just have the fear itself is wrong. um you should fear being weak, being undisciplined. You should fear being poor. That's really what
yeah.
should allow you to follow those list of rules that you mentioned, right?
Wait, what do you think they fear?
They fear failure. They
Oh, I
fear
see.
fate. They fear investing, let's say $500 on a 100K account. it took them maybe 2 months to save up the $500, and
Hmm.
they have this such a big fear because $500 is a lot of money to them, so they fear making mistakes, and so the fear itself becomes impeding, and then it either triggers the fight or flight response. So now the brain is surviving. Now it's either going to fight back, which is the revenge trading, the over trading, and the frustration, and then just like they blow up in like a day or two, or they go into the flight response, which is very fearful, hesitant, and they either don't touch the trade the account anymore, or they start strategy hopping. They start doubting themselves. They start doubting the strategy. So it's just they're not able to remain calm in under
Yeah, I
stressful
mean,
situations.
yeah, for like that like the fear of the failure, right? You talk about that's like pretty much they're breaking the number one rule of like trading and investing. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Then you won't have that fear. Like most people go into a challenge that they can't even afford like three, four times. I always say if you can't afford a challenge three, four times over, don't go for it, right? Then you get rid of that fear of failure. Then you have different fear because then you know, okay, if I lose this, I can get another one. If I lose, I can get another one. So there's that fear of it's gone. Then the only fear is like, okay, I need to make this work. I can't stay broke.
Love that. Love that. And let's wrap it up on that, because that right there is a solid way of ending the conversation. Um, so where can the listeners reach you? And I mean, I've linked some your Twitter account and your Instagram in the description. So yeah, just where else can people reach you? And
I mean, that's about it. Like if they go on my, I don't know, Twitter bios, my Discord server where I try to like answer everyone
Mhm.
for free anytime I have time, right? That's about it.
All right. Fantastic. So, Arman, I just want to thank you. It's been really, really solid conversation.
Thank you.
And definitely there'll be more conversations like this coming. We're thinking of doing more roundtable conversations, adding more traders in, and be really good to have you back.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
So I want to thank the listeners as well. And for those that are looking for education, there are links in the description where you can complete a questionnaire and let us know at the Trader Roundup team what you're struggling with, and we'll point you in the right direction. We also have a Discord community which you can join for free. So, and in there, we've got multiple mentors. We have practically daily live streams where we are calling price. I personally do a psychology session on the weekends. Uh, and so if you guys want to join, it's free on Discord. But on that note, Arman, enjoy the rest of your birthday. Happy birthday once again.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
And guys, will tune in. The next session will likely be um, either Funded Fridays or a case study where we're going to continue the Limitless series with JCap. So make sure you tune into that, guys. Cool. All right. See you, man.
All right, bye bye, bro.